the menu that we have in Dream when I first start my creation looks like that. And if I use the DualShock controller or the moves, they are identical menus. In the DualShock's case, the menu is docked on the screen, and you use the gyro and the motion controls to move around, and in the move, the menu is stuck on your second controller. And these here are our different modes. We call them, so we have a modeling one, a painting one, some special effects one, the sound one, and each one of those is very powerful and full of fun and interesting toys. Now, you have a lot of different families of styles that you can use to change your looseness. The one that comes out of the box is a simple square one, but I'm going to choose a nice sort of like painterly looking one like that. So we have another feature which we call the mixed brush, and that allows me basically to drag a bunch of colors inside my mixer. I'm sort of dragging some dark blue, a bit of grayish green, a bit of sort of pastel-y brown, you know, a mix of colors that say rock formation to me. And I spin that around, and you can see, and spin it slowly, and you can see the swatch is changing the color live. And now my shape is changing live in front of me, and as I place each and every edit, the different color comes across and comes through. That allows me to basically get a nicer experience of coloring or shaping my form while I'm working without distraction and disturbance, allowing me to be more thinking about that shape and that mountain, and not obsessed about a menu. Here I'm just going to pick a bunch of greens and use that to paint over my object. So rather than sculpting, now I'm just coloring it, and I will make it a bit less opaque, so it's like quite pleasant and see-through, a bit watercolory. And now I'm just going to go over the formation and paint it. I want to make a sea out of just this cube, and I use the same color mixer to give me some variety. So just make a bunch of cubes beside each other, and we'll turn that thing into a sea. By just placing it here, I can extend it. We have functionalities, by the way, in sculpture that allow you to modify your forms after the fact as well. Kind of like extruding, or anyone who has used software like SketchUp would have seen stuff like that. So I've made a stripped bit of length. Now that doesn't really look like the sea, so I need to loosen it up. I go to another tool which is called the style tool, which allows me to loosen it after the fact. I change the style from the squarey one to, let's say, this Monet one, and sort of paint over that different style. Cool. And now that it is put together, I want to give it some animation. So I go to another bunch of tools, which we call inside the tool bag here, and we call it the effects tool. And literally I go to this tab one called the flow tool, and if I hold my tool over the water, it just makes it transform into a sea. If it's too fast, I can slow it down by just doing the reverse. Too slow, too fast. So see, again, here's an example of like our UI philosophy. Just changing the speed of the thing is a pleasant operation. In fact, if I want to change the direction of it, I don't go to some weird concept of I just go to another tool called the comb, and I comb it in another direction, and then it goes in the other direction. I want it to go this way, I want it to go that way. So again, as tactile as we could possibly think of, in order to allow the users to enjoy themselves. If you have a river that goes and goes around and goes up and down like a waterfall or something, you can have that experience not over technical. So I put this C. I want to slow it down because it's a bit too much. So let's go back here. I go back to the slow it down. Yeah, cool. The other thing that I can do to this C to give it a more C-like look is go back to the effects tool and give it a waviness. So again, I just use the wave tool, and that makes the water go a little bit in a wave-like manner. So we go back to our Painterly tool. I pick the stamp brush. The stamp brush allows you to just stamp in space the different styles, but rather than just stamping them, I will make a cloud out of it. So we have a sort of scatter operation that if I twist my hand, it just makes a scatter bomb of that sort of that brush type. So I'll just pick, I think, like some warm orangey sort of ness and a little olive. There we go, and that's nice. And sort of, so you see, like, it takes from that color, and now I can just put this cloud cluster of tree goodness around the branches. This feature of painting with the splats in space is just like loaded. Like there is like a whole universe of techniques and brushes and stuff that you can do out of it. But we'll just show today the cloud brush or the stamp one, which is tip of the iceberg, but it's very cute. To see, you see these things on the side, those sliders, that's telling you like that is your model quota. And if you fill it up, it tells you advice, try reducing your models. Or if you're really expensive in using the logic, it will tell you actually you've went overboard in logic, try to chill it out. So there is a lot of diagnostic ooh, check this out. This is like the this is like the Matrix. We love this feature, by the way. This one allows you to explode your scene into a list view that allows you to see it and work on it in a more object by object way, and it's very useful for electronics. But on Thermometer, we have diagnostic tools, tell you where your problem is, give you some advice, and different areas where you can optimize.
I'll show you how to make rain now.
Cool. So how do
I love doing this. It's so fun.
Yeah. So you do sort of like we basically. I'm gonna make it. I'll keep it moody actually. So I just do a pass. I draw a little pass like that. It's more like snow. Rain is directly, and then so I just did one straight line, and then I basically just animate that. So you go to the animation features and you duplicate it. So now I've duplicated this line, and I can increase the copies, make even more of them. So now this line, I've got more of them. But how can we animate that? So we turn that into what we call I need to turn the time on, and then we can start making that scroll. So now this whole line is scrolling, but I want to make it have a shorter tail. So we have one which is like the tail, make it faster as well. So here I'm sort of modifying the speed of it. make it come down faster and faster and faster. And then pulse, yeah. So the pulse basically makes that thing not draw completely, just draws a little bit of it and goes along the line. So I'm basically using a combination of these guys. It's too slow, this range. It needs to go faster and faster.
So cool.
Faster. And then you can go back to the page of the copies and sort of go like, actually we need more copies. So give it, it's still super chilled, so you speed it up. And that's the experience of...
It's got like the rain streaking across the window vibe.